This is going to be a good one. What's up, guys? I'm Jeremy with JPHONEOGRAPHY, where I do videography, photography, product reviews, and tutorials all on the iPhone. Today, we're going to be talking about the DJi Spark controller package. Let's go. All right, the up close of the DJi Spark controller combo package. All right, now I was a bad boy and I already went ahead and opened all of this. But inside of this box, we're gonna do it a little differently. Inside of this box, what you get is the Spark itself, as well as paired with the controller. And then off to the side, inside of that box, is another little box, which is your charger instructions and stuff. So let's get these out of the way, because they're just boxes. Sorry I didn't officially do it correctly, but that's all right. Inside of those boxes, this is what you get. You get a whole bunch of different instructions, quick startup guide. You got your DJi Care. You've got your Spark quick start guide right here, all different languages, and then the remote controller instructions. This one here is your disclaimer safety guidelines, and this is what's in the box, everything that comes in this box. And last but not least, this is an intelligent flight battery safety guideline instructions. All right, so those are all the instructions set aside. So now up next is the controller. The controller is very nice. The controller here is, in order to charge the controller, you have to have a micro USB cable. Now, I'm kind of going backwards here because this was a controller combo. So let's get the actual Spark out. All right, this is what the Spark comes in. Another one of those hard shell styrofoam cases. I wouldn't really say hard shell, but the same type of case that came in the OSMO Mobile 2 from DJi. I'll leave that video in the description down below. But when this one comes in, you open it up and there's everything. Now originally, this was not in here, this was not in here, and this is what you saw. You would think the battery would have been here, but it was already inside of the drone itself because the company had to pair it with the controller because it came with it. So with that being said, you got your propellers, everything here underneath. There's your sensors, there's your camera, your 1080p camera, and then here's your battery. The battery just comes out like this. You got two buttons, one on each side right here. And there's your contacts. There's your password for your Wi-Fi. You see it's got the little code there so that you can scan it with your phone. Well, one thing that's nice about that is once you get everything registered, in order to register it, you can either type everything manually, or you can actually use that scan and it does all the work for you. That's pretty nice. So for the battery to go back in, you just line it up, and it's a little forceful. You gotta use a little bit of oomph to get it in there, but you hear that click, it locks into place, and you wanna make sure it doesn't go anywhere so that when you're gonna go fly, the battery doesn't fly out, because it's happened. Not to me, I've seen videos where it has happened. This little box right here are your extra propellers. I think it comes with two, because there's one here on one side and one on the other. So that's nice. And then let's slide that aside. And then here is your controller. Like I just said, you got your fly home button, your power button. I haven't figured out what this button does yet. Your function button, which you can also use as a shortcut. Sport mode, you slide that over if you want to go faster than what it currently does. It's nice. I haven't used it yet because I don't want to destroy the drone. I'm too scared. Plus, I like to do a lot of cinematic footage, so I like to keep everything nice and slow. You got your indicator here for your battery, and then your other indicator light here to let you know if it's connected to your drone. Red, obviously not. Green, you are connected. You got your joysticks here, nice plastic. Everything's plastic, but it's a really strong plastic. Everything is nice and strong. To control your drone, this one here on my left will control the forward motion, the backward motion. Is that right? Forward motion, or is it this one? Ah, crap. I have it set up by default. I think if I remember, this is your elevation. This will fly up, this will fly down. This will fly forward, this will fly backwards. This will turn, which means turn the drone. And then this will make the drone go sideways. So even if it's elevated, it will do a nice like slide cinematic type view. On the top here, you got your camera button. Here, let's get a little closer. Sorry, guys. Let's get into view here. Okay, on the top here, you got your camera. That will do your take the pictures. On the opposite side, you've got this one for video. Below the video, you have a little dial here. That's to make your camera go up and down. The faster you do it, the faster it's going to move. If you move it just a little bit, it's very sensitive. So if you move it just a little bit, it'll do a nice smooth motion, nice slow smooth motion. And then this button opposite of it is another customizable shortcut. So this one I have set up to make the camera do a quick down or quick up, or not up, but level. And then on the back, you got another one of those codes so that you can scan it and have everything connect automatically for you. And that's, honestly, that's what I do, because first when I go to power everything on, I would normally turn on the drone, wait for everything to light up, then I turn on the controller. And once that green light is lit, I know I'm connected. So I mean, yes, you could start flying, but then you gotta do your phone, your mobile device, or your tablet. And so then after that, instead of being like, okay, let's find the Wi-Fi and try to have it connect to the controller, not to the drone. That's unless you're not planning on using the controller. I like to use the drone because it goes farther in distance, but and it's more responsive than your touch screen of your mobile device. Yeah, that's usually what I like to do. Power, to power it on, your power button is right here for the controller. And if you click it once, it will tell you how much battery you have. But if you click it and then hold it, there's a sound to let you know that's got to turn on and try to connect. And let's see if we can get this in the view correctly. Right here, it's blinking red because it's trying to look for the drone. But because I don't have the drone on, it's not connected. So it's a solid red saying we're not connected now. So first I would turn this off, so click and hold. And then if I wanted my drone to turn on, which I can do, to turn your drone on, your power button is right here. Same thing. Click it once, it'll tell you how much battery you have. So I got a full charge. Click and hold. Fans turn on, which is right here, ventilation fans. Got your sound, blinking. Now I'm going to click and hold the controller. I know what you're thinking, is this thing going to take off right inside? No, I'm not going to let it. So now it's going to connect. So eventually this light is now going to turn green. So you want to give it a minute. There we go. We are now connected. The light's changed, letting you know that you are now connected. And if I was to hit the up on the joystick here, these would start spinning. But I'm not going to do that because, one, it's nice to have your propellers out and ready to go. I always try and be fragile with these things because I don't want to break them. I'm not sure if you can take this drone out right away with these folded in, because once these spin, I'm guessing these will open up, but I always like to open them up. If you think you know, let me know in the comments below. but I always like to manually do it myself. Whether I'm storing it away or getting ready to take off, I'll open all of them up and then be good to go. So now when I go to turn this thing off, now that it's connected, and if it's not connected for some reason, that's where I mentioned you would want to use your camera from your phone within the DJi Go 4 app and take the snapshot of that, and then it will know what to do from there. It'll do a little pop-up on your mobile device saying, do you want to connect to the drone? And you say yes, and then this will be automatically connected with your phone, so you got your viewfinder to be able to fly, and not just by using the controller itself. Because otherwise, yeah, you can go out and fly it, but you're not going to know where it's going to go if you go too far away. You need to see where it's going to go through the camera. All right, so to turn this off, whenever I go to turn it off after I'm done using it, I always turn off the drone first. Click and hold, and then click and hold this one. And that's that. All right, so what else came with this? There's the drone, there's the controller, because you're thinking, how do you charge all this? Where's the cable? Inside of that as well, inside the package as well was the charger. And this is from DJi themselves. So here's your charger. You got your DJi logo. See if I can get that in the picture right. See if you see it. I think I have it backwards. No, that's right. And then USB, 2-prong, and then your information of how many volts and amps that it does to charge the battery. So then you just take the cord that comes with, and I think it's a 1 meter cord. I think it's 1 meter, somewhere in there. Probably can't tell with the camera, obviously. But anyways, it's long enough. Throw that in. Here is your micro USB. And then whether you are charging your controller or the drone, for the controller, it's right there underneath. So then you just line it up. See if I got it in the right way. Hold on. I always get them mixed up sometimes. Is that it? No, that might not be it. There we go. And then that's how you would charge the controller. It doesn't take long to charge the controller. That's nice. And the charge itself, when it's all done, it will last you probably a week. The battery in it, it's not real demanding. It's nice. For the drone, right by the power button, which is also the battery, you have where it says spark right here. It's a little flap that you would get underneath and lift it up. So as you can see right here, I got my micro USB, yeah, micro USB. I got my micro SD card in there, and that's just a 32 gig. It does the job. And then off to the left, that's where you would charge your battery. Now you can go out and buy the other toys, you know, like the charging station if you had more than one battery. But for now, this is what I am currently working with. But yeah, that is close up. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even show you the camera. Here's what the camera looks like. It's a 2-axis gimbal, so that means it only goes left and right, the tilt. It doesn't go up and down. I'm not gonna force that. So it's a 2-axis gimbal, and then here are your sensors for obstacle avoidance, and then underneath are more sensors, so it knows what it's flying on top of to get that different depth from ground to where the device is. So it knows the elevation of where it is. Plus, it will know if it's above water. It's not best to fly above water. You can, but I wouldn't recommend it. The firmware updates have been updating lately. This is June 4th, 2018, and I am currently up to date for the firmware. So I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of fixes and stuff for that type of things, but I still don't want to chance it just yet. Too scared. But yeah, that is the DJi Spark. There's your controller. There's your charging cable, and the SD card I had to buy separately myself. And then here is the hard shell case with the propellers as well. It's a very good package deal. I highly recommend it. And of course, all your manual goodness stuff. But yeah, that's the close-up view of the DJi Spark. Till next time. Yep. The controller itself that it comes with for the controller package, it's a must-have. The reason why is because if you use the controller with the DJi Spark, it's gonna go so much farther. If you're just using your cell phone, connecting via Wi-Fi to the Spark to control it, it's not gonna go that far at all. Like, I think it's something like 100 meters, but if you were to be using this, the controller, so far from what I've done, I can go about 1.5 miles. I don't know what that is in kilometers. Sorry, I can't convert that. But yeah, I highly recommend getting the controller combo package, unless you're gonna get like the FiLMiC package, whatever that's called, where it gives you like multiple batteries and the controller and or the propeller guards. And whatnot, but even the charger. Back to the controller itself is made really well. It's nice and thick. Yes, it's plastic, but it's a very strong plastic. I haven't had no problems with like worrying if these arms are gonna break off. I mean, you're not gonna wanna force them obviously and go the wrong way with them, but so far the amount of times that I've inserted my iPhone 7 Plus into this, haven't had no problems. I do notice that there are some teeth, plastic inserted teeth into the arms here, and they got the, what is it, the star hex screws, I think is what it is. And if your phone, say you had a really thick case, your phone wouldn't be able to fit. But I haven't tried it out yet, but I'm thinking about giving it a shot, is taking those screws out and being able to put in your phone with a case and seeing if it still stays snug or if it even fits. Because that option is there that I noticed. Because see if I can zoom, or not zoom in, but focus correctly on here for you. You can see right about there. See those screws? Those are the star screws, hex screws, and the teeth. See how that's just kind of inserted in there, like it's its own little plastic bracket. I'm kind of curious, but anyways, the antennas are good. They're durable. I'm always fragile with them whenever I maneuver them, adjust them around. When you are using these, you want to make sure that by default, usually, these are aiming towards your drone, as well as making sure that one antenna is going opposite the other way. You can give these a turn, but you can only turn so far. So I really don't see how it would be possible. I don't want to force them. You probably can give them a full turn, but you want to make sure that they're going opposite so that the signal can go out as far as it's supposed to go. But what's nice about these is that there's a little tooth right here and a little indent slot on the other end, and when you go to close these in, there's only one way you can close them, because the one here on, what would it be, your left? It'd be your left, but my right. You would want this one closed first because it's closer to the controller, and then this one would just lay on top. But because of that little groove that I just mentioned, what you can do is slide it in and it locks into place, so that when you're traveling around, these aren't gonna go anywhere as much. But yeah, the controller itself, the joysticks, they're strong. They are plastic, so be careful. They do make a whole bunch of accessories out there where you can get like this little like rubber mold that snaps in across them, so like they stay protected. Haven't gotten into that yet, but I do plan on it sometime. But the buttons here, on this one here, if you go to press this one on the top, that's going to be your camera shutter button. So while you're out flying around, if you just give that a tap, it will take the picture. Opposite of that will be your record, and then opposite below is your custom button. You can have that do whatever you want, whether you want like a shortcut to have your camera just go straight down and you hit that button again and it goes straight up. And then the wheel here, that is your manual adjust for your camera to go down and up. So you can control, it's very precise, sensitive. You can control the speed of how much you give it the turn. And then the buttons in the front, you got your normal mode, which it's on by default. And then if you switch this over, you're in sport mode. So when it's in normal mode, it won't go as fast. But if you're in sport mode, be careful. It goes really fast. I do not use the sport mode. I have not yet. I've just watched a lot of videos on it so far because I don't want to break this thing yet. I'm too scared. I'm too new at it. Yes, top button here in the corner, that's your home button. You can, when you have your mobile device in here on the screen, you can hit the home icon in the software version of it, and your drone will come back to home from where you started it off. But you can also hit it on the device itself here, the controller, and it will do it as well that way. Top right here, or sorry, would this be your top left? I don't know. This one here would be your power button. When you go to turn on or even turn off, what you want to do is you're going to give it a tap once and then quickly hold it, and it turns on. And then when you turn it off, click and hold, and it's off. Okay, so as for the controls, like I said, you know, yes, they are plastic, but they are durable. Everything, like I said, is durable on here. But controlling it, it's got a good restriction to the joysticks. It's not flimsy, it's not loose, but the way that I have this controller is set up by default. This one here, I use it to raise and lower the drone, and then to turn the drone. And then this one over here, I use it to make the drone go sideways. So if you wanted to have like a nice cinematic slide shot. And then up and down would be your forward and backwards for this one, sorry. Yeah, but that's the controller. Very nice controller. I would have to say a little bit different than the Mavic Air controller because it has that little like onboard screen, but it's not needed because everything that's on that screen is the same as the software that would be displayed on your mobile device. So it's not needed because you can see everything on your mobile device. And one thing that I did some research on that's pretty cool is, say you have an iPad. Maybe you don't want to use your mobile phone. What's really cool is that you can buy an accessory. It's like a little, they come in different types of formats. You got like a rectangle plastic plate that slides in here, or a metal one, costs a little bit more. And then it comes up in the center from the plate. And then there's your adapter to hold your tablet, whether it's like your iPad Pro, the Mini, Android tablets, and whatnot. You just got to do some research and find some products that will like fit your device. And one thing that's nice is like you can have it come up, like I mentioned just now, in the thing, and instead of just looking at your mobile phone, you now have a bigger screen. Here, let me get out of this. You can now obviously have a bigger screen. This is the iPad Pro 9.7. You can obviously have a bigger screen coming up for your view when you're flying around. It's really nice. I haven't got one yet, but I do plan on it because the phone is fun because it's convenient. It's right in your pocket, you know. But I do want to try this method out as well. Just have that bigger screen, you know. But yeah, as for the drone, let me grab it here. As for the drone itself is also very well made. They put some time into it. It's not just like, oh, let's just go to Walmart and get a little cheap $30 one. Well, it will be cheap if you do. This one is, a lot of thought has gone into it because the plastic itself on the arms as well as the body, it's all one mold. It's strong. I mean, yes, if you're gonna go flying and be crazy flying around and crash into a tree, yes, it is possible for these to be busted right off, as well as your propellers. But one thing that's nice in the controller package, it gives you a couple extra just in case, because I mean, you don't know, you could crash into something and be totally done for. The camera is 1080p only for recording video, but you can upscale it to 4K in post, which is a bonus. But I mean, it's not going to be official 4K, but at least it will fit the 4K ratio. You might notice pixels, a little bit distortion in the picture, but if you're just using 1080p for like YouTube or small little projects that you're going to be doing, 1080p is fine. The camera also is a 12 megapixel. It takes decent pictures, not bad. On the back here, you flip this up, it's got a little tab right here, and that is where you charge it. A micro USB comes with, and then to the right of that, or to the left of that, I don't know how the video is here, that's where you put your micro SD card. And right now I got a 32 gig stick in there, or card, and it's so far it's enough for me, because fly time with the battery is about 13 minutes, give or take, 15 minutes. I think they say officially it's a 16-minute flight, but you got your startup, takedown, you know, the landing, the amount of time that it takes, depending on the amount of wind that's in the air, it's going to make the propellers work harder. You got all your variances. The battery, you got two little buttons right here on the sides, and they got little like slide actions to them, and when you do that, it just pops right out. And the way that works is, I don't know if you can see it, but right here there's a little black piece on each side, and when you go to pull these tabs, like I just said, those little notches will go in, and that's how the battery comes out. I've seen some reviews where some batteries, even though those notches are there, the battery, when you go to slide it in to lock, and it's locked into place, without pulling on those tabs, the person could just pull it back out. And what happened was she would be out flying, and all of a sudden he would see the battery just fall out of the sky, and then there goes your drone. So you want to make sure that every time before flight, make sure everything's together. Your propellers, make sure the battery's in place, locked in, and everything. You'll hear the click, but you want to make sure that it's nice and tight. Obviously, you don't want to force it out, but yeah, propellers, make sure that they're all intact. They're in the sprocket, whatever you call it here. Just make sure everything's together, and then do your flight. But yeah, the camera is a 2-axis gimbal. Also, it's not what is it, up and down, I think. It's not up and down, it's just left and right. So when you're out flying, it will stabilize your footage this way, but maybe not so much this way. And I'm pretty sure that it's software stabilization for that part. Not certain, but I'm pretty sure. And then the front here, the reason why that this little rectangle's here is that's your sensors. So like when you're out flying around, and you're gonna come close to a tree or something, it's gonna analyze that. It's gonna know, and it's gonna know how to just deflect around that. But one thing to remember, when you're doing a drone-y shot or something, and the thing's taken off away from you so that you can get a video of yourself or a 360 aerial around you, remember that on the backside there is no sensors. So if you go to fly this thing even in manual backwards, it will not know that a tree is there. So you could crash that thing by going backwards. So just remember that. But yeah, that's the DJi Spark. Definitely a good combo to get. But until next time, I'm DJ Bone. Please like, subscribe. Until next time, later.